bureaucratic red tape, fight back against an intrusive government, and create new jobs for the future so our kids can live and work right here in Wyoming. Sam Galliotis, conservative ID.
Loser.
10 to 25%.
What the EPA released yesterday was a notice of proposed rulemaking, not a final rule. The notice lays out a series of options for how to go forward with CAFE standards, and the notice asks for comments on the range of options. We're simply opening it up for a comment period, and we'll make a final decision at the end of that.
They are the fake, disgusting news. Either getting it or we're closing down government. We need border security. We need border security.
Now under review, apparently, is demoted DOJ official Bruce Ohr, as a shocking report uncovers more of his texts with the author of that anti-Trump dossier, Christopher Steele. In one, Steele seems concerned about Comey's upcoming testimony on Capitol Hill, writing, "Hi, just wondering if you had any news. Obviously, we're a bit apprehensive given scheduled appearance at Congress on Monday, hoping that important firewalls will hold. Many thanks." Or replied, "Sorry, no new news. I believe my earlier information is still accurate. I will let you know immediately if there is any change." Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett is the author of The Russian Hoax. It's the #1 book in America for the third week running, and he joins us live right now. Good morning to you.
Good to see you, Steve.
Okay, so what are these important firewalls that Mr. Steele is worried might be publicized?
Well, here's 60 pages of Steele's communications with Bruce Ohr at the Department of Justice, and he is frantic that he is going to get exposed. In one text message...
They wanted it to be a secret.
Oh, right, because here's what Chris Steele did. He created a phony document, false intelligence. He hated Trump. He's on record saying he'd do anything to stop Trump. So what he did was he created this false intelligence document, peddles it to James Comey and his Confederates and John Brennan. And he's doing a lot of it through Bruce Ohr, the guy there in the middle of the screen. And so, but he realizes that he's going to get busted. He's going to get exposed. So one text message is, Senator Grassley has a letter and he's going to implicate him, Christopher Steele. Another one, he writes to Bruce Ohr, Comey's about to testify, and he's worried he'll be exposed.
Because then it would expose the fact that the Democrats funded it and Hillary was involved, and that would have happened almost 2 years earlier than right now. Talking about the dossier, though, and you just mentioned Mr. Brennan. Brennan got his security clearance yanked yesterday, and one of the reasons, it sounds like the president told the Wall Street Journal that he holds him responsible for launching the whole Trump-Russia collusion narrative.
Right. Chapter 6 is how John Brennan, as CIA director, was the instigator of the Russia hoax. He did more than anyone damage in propagating false intelligence in the dossier. He's proven he cannot be trusted with national security secrets. He's leaked before, and he would be prone to use current intelligence to damage Trump and jeopardize national security.
I'm sorry?
Do you think
Look, the president is somebody who's always going to fight fire with fire. This is something that isn't new, and it's something the American people...
Yeah, you want to punch me in the face? I'm going to punch you in the face. Your gender, your color, whatever, doesn't matter. If you cross me and attack me, I'm going to hit you back.
Frankly, if we want to look at who's creating divisions in the country, I think the media has done more to divide this country, certainly far more than this president ever has, by elevating people like the author of this book, by focusing on sparsely attended rally instead of all of the policies that this administration and that this president are enacting that are helping people not just on the economy but on school choice, on prison reform that's disproportionately affected African Americans and Hispanics. This is a president who is governing to help all Americans, and I think we'd all be better off if the media gave that just a little bit more attention.
Parentheses, it has differences from what was given to us by Korn and Simpson. Did you write all that?
Congressman, let me answer it this way. The first, if I could address the chair.
Look at the look on his face. Did you write this? This is your email, dude.
Chairman, over the break, I was authorized by the General Counsel.
Hang on a second. I just want my time stop if you could. Are you addressing me or the chairman?
I'd like to address the chairman the time. This is all going to come together in an answer. Is there a question you want to direct? No, it's something I wanted to answer your question from earlier based on something I've been told by the FBI.
Wait.
I think I'm aware of what the FBI told you, and I will have another chance to talk about that. But right now, the gentleman from Ohio controls the time.
You wrote this.
Is he high or something? He's nervous, man. He's nervous as a cat on a hot tin roof.
Question.
So obviously,
do you see the from?
So Congressman, here's
the from line. Do you see the from line?
Congressman, I do.
It says Peter Strzok. And then it says to Lisa Page and a whole bunch of other key people at the FBI. So did you write it?
I did write this.
All right, let me ask you a couple questions about it. It has differences from what was given to us by Korn and Simpson. Who's Korn?
Sir, to answer that question, and I would love to answer that question. And
David Korn.
Every part of me, and you know why I'd want to answer that question, because you have this information.
Who's Simpson?
I have been, sir, if I may. I cannot answer that question.
You wrote about it. It's now public. Who's Korn? Who's Simpson?
Based on direction by the FBI, sir, I am not able to answer questions about ongoing investigation.
I want to find the one where he's talking about his email.
Mr. Gowdy starts. May I respond to Mr. Jordan?
Very briefly.
Very briefly, sir. I would love to do that. There is an appropriate time for oversight, and as you well know, that is at the end of an investigation once it's concluded. I am certain Congress will. Not me. If something is notable or high level, I might be involved, but it would be rare, if never, that I would typically get out there and conduct interviews. I never prejudged anything. Not in this case, not in any others.
Impeachment for what, Agent Strzok? Impeachment for what?
Second of all,
Mr. Chairman, what are the rules here? Mr. Chairman, what are the rules? The gentleman will allow the witness to answer the question, and then we'll move on.
Second,
he was given time to respond. And
the notion, at the time I was the Deputy Assistant Director, I have section chiefs, unit chiefs in the field, supervisors, agents, people who typically do interviews, not me. If something is notable or high level, I might be involved, but it would be...
It goes deeper than these boys, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just Peter Strzok, it's the people under him, his little fledgling soldiers. So we've got a lot of house cleaning to do, and it isn't just the top boys. We're going to have to go, probably 10 to 15 agents in every agency and fire them.
Rare, if never, that I would typically get out there and conduct interviews, first of all. Second, you mentioned the use of the word impeachment. That was used in the context of my not knowing what this would lead to. I was not prejudging impeachment.
Well, then why would you use the word?
When I use that term, it was saying it might it might lead all the way to something.
Thank you, Agent Strzok. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Missouri, Mr. Clay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Special Agent Strzok. I just continue to be amazed that my colleagues in the majority are more interested.
Mr. Clay, what a joke. If he's your senator or your rep, guys, you picked the wrong motherfucker there.
Interested in your text messages.
As implausible as that sounds to...
I do not.
Well, here, let me see if this refreshes your recollection. This is you in response to something Lisa Page sent you. I'm torn. I think, no, I'm more replaceable than you are in this. I'm the best for it, but there are others who can do it. Okay, you're different and more unique. This is yours. Plus, leaving an SC, having been an SC, resulting in an, guess what that next word is?
I'm sure you've got it, sir.
No, well, you wrote it.
Are you asking me what it's?
Yeah, what is? What do you think it is?
I don't need to guess. Impeachment, sir.
Impeachment. 5 days. 5 days after Mueller has been appointed special counsel, and you're already talking about impeachment twice. I thank the gentleman from Iowa.
Mr. Chairman, may I respond, please?
The gentleman
as a conclusion of Mr. King's time, you may.
Struck him over here now to your left, and I wanted to point out that you repeatedly stated here before this committee that you separated out your personal beliefs from any action that you took. You'd agree with that, I'm confident. And as implausible as that sounds to us, we've listened to a dogmatic defense of the implausible argument that no matter how biased you were, no matter how pro.
Ron DeSantis, who joins me now. All right, good evening, Congressman. You know, reaction to this and the other big news stories of the week. Congressman Ron DeSantis, who joins me now. All right, good evening, Congressman. You know, the first time I heard that tape, and then there was a break at the point where it seemed to be in the president's favor, and then all of a sudden it was garbled. As both the prosecutor and a judge, I said to myself, that would never be admissible. And lo and behold, it's sent over to CNN. What's your take on what's going on as they try to get forensic analysts to figure out if this tape has been toyed with, and yet they can't get the original tape at this point to see if it has been?
Well, good evening, Judge, and congratulations on the book. I know it's selling very well, and I know you're going to be down in Florida soon, so congrats on that.
Thank you.
Look, this whole thing is just very, very strange. I mean, you know, some of the questions involving the tape, why he would have been doing this, and now he's got, you know, Lanny Davis is a big Democrat, big Clintonista, and he's working with Lanny on this. I just don't know how much credibility any of that evidence is ultimately going to have.
Well, you know, obviously, the damage is done to the extent you see it as damaging. I didn't because of my background, but, you know, they leaked it, so it's not even an issue of whether or not they can lay a proper foundation to admit it at trial. They've admitted it to the public, and if they want to impeach, they could say, oh, you know about that tape, when you and I both know it wouldn't be admissible in court. But I want to talk to you about my favorite guy there, Rod Rosenstein, the guy who's basically running the Department of Justice after he convinced Jeff Sessions to go hide in the closet somewhere. Now, you guys wanted to impeach him, and as I understand it, there was a resolution to have the guy impeached based upon what facts?
Well, a number of things. I mean, one, he should have recused himself from this. Remember, he wrote the memo saying Comey should be fired. He also signed one of the FISA extensions for Carter Page. Those are both critical issues in terms of some of the information we're trying to get. And then he has consistently stonewalled the Congress. They've redacted material facts from documents that were provided to Congress. So this has just not been adequate cooperation with the Congress. These are very important issues that the American people have a right to. So Congress only has limited tools. I think the issue with the impeachment is there weren't enough Republican votes for it. I would have liked to have seen us pursue contempt of Congress against Rosenstein, because I think that could have been done quicker, and it would have required the Senate to ultimately vote yay or nay on it. The problem, though, Judge.
Go ahead.
Well, the problem is Congress is now gone for the August recess, and so that is not going to be a viable vehicle at this point until sometime in September. And by the time all that, even if it did get off the ground, I think it may be too late. So
all right,
we need to get this stuff soon.
I know we need to get it done, but here's the problem. Paul Ryan wouldn't get on board, and as I understand it, he didn't want this impeachment to go through or contempt of Congress. Here's the bottom line. Am I somewhat right about Paul Ryan and the leadership? Because you come on every week, and all your friends come on who are congressmen, and you're trying to do it. Somebody's stopping you. Who's stopping you?
Well, I think the leadership was definitely opposed to the Rosenstein resolution.
Paul Ryan, say his name.
No, yeah. No, sure, absolutely. I think the speaker was opposed to it. Now, getting some of this stuff short of that, I I think that could be done, and I just don't know why that hasn't happened yet. You do have people like Nunes who are pushing, Jim Jordan, Meadows, myself, but ultimately we have certain issues with involving what surveillance happened before July 31st, 2016 of Trump's campaign, what informants were used, how did Crossfire Hurricane start, what about the dossier? Those are all easily answerable questions from the department.
Look, plus he threatened congressional staff. All bad stuff. Congressman DeSantis, thank you so much.
Looking more and more like the Trump campaign for president was illegally being spied upon, surveillance for the political gain of crooked Hillary Clinton and the DNC. Ask her how that worked out. She did better with crazy Bernie. Republicans must get tough now, an illegal scam. Joining me right now with his first reaction to all of this is House Judiciary Committee Chairman and Virginia Republican Congressman Bob Goodlatte. Mr. Chairman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning, Maria. It's good to be with you.
Well, what strikes me about all of these documents that I've been looking at all morning is all of the redactions on every page. Major black lines redacted. So tell us, what did we learn from this FISA warrant?
Well, we certainly learned that there is a serious problem with the FBI presenting